We are back with another episode of the Marketing Millennials podcast, and I'm live at Salesforce Connections. I'm Daniel Murray, and today I'm talking with Eric Zenz, SVP of Product Management for Agentforce Marketing at Salesforce. Eric breaks down how AI agents are tackling the coordination chaos that's plagued marketers forever. Siloed data, endless approvals, waiting days to get an answer, using that shared context on Salesforce Customer 360. We get into how the Agentforce goals and content agents actually build and optimize campaigns for you, why 75% of marketers have adopted AI but still aren't seeing the output change, and the one AI hill Eric will die on. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Marketing Millennials, the No BS Marketing Podcast. I'm Daniel Murray, and join me for unfiltered conversations with the brains behind marketing's coolest companies. The one request I tell our guests, stories or it didn't happen. Get ready to turn the up.
Okay, cool. We are back with another episode of the Marketing Millennials podcast. Today, I am here with Eric Zenz, Vice President of Product Management at Salesforce. Is that correct?
Yeah, I lead product for Agentforce Marketing.
Amazing. And I want to just get into the Agentforce stuff because I saw a quote today at the keynote that kind of stood out to me. And I'll read the quote. It said, "Marketers are creative. Why is coordination crushing us?" I'm like, we have siloed data, IT dependencies, not enough agency. And that's not like a real new complaint from marketers. It's been there forever. Why is now the moment it's actually getting solved?
Yeah, so of course the challenges, as you said, aren't new. The coordination costs of being a marketer and like getting your audience data together, getting your content assembled, getting your content approved, like activating, like in a large organization, that's like tens of individuals that are involved right there. And what we're doing now with AI agents is we're bringing AI agents to assist the marketer in those tasks and even automate some of those tasks to free them to be creative, to free their minds and their time to be able to return to that creative work, the sort of essence of marketing, and elevate what they're putting out.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, because I used to be a marketing ops guy, and one of the things that really stood out to me was the pulling data really fast. Because I used to get requests from CMO, and they would say, "Why is this channel down?" And then I would have to go to talk to the data analysts and like, let's go talk to the data analysts, and I would take it, and then I put a ticket in, and it would take 3 or 4 days, and then I would get it, and then we're already halfway to the month, behind the month, and then we haven't even solved the problem yet. Right. And then there's a new month and a new goal.
Yeah.
Could you explain like what's happening right now if they would use Agentforce to do that and pull data?
Right. Yeah. So any LLM is going to be able to sort of leverage the context that it has available to generate a response for your prompt. Mm-hmm. And what we have in Agentforce Marketing and just Agentforce in general is the shared context of what we call the Customer 360, or all of the customer interactions across sales, service, marketing, commerce, et cetera. So when you're a marketer and you're trying to ask about the performance of a campaign, or if you're trying to determine the segment of individuals to address, you ask that question of Agentforce in the same way that you would ask of your data specialist. We think we have the ability to respond to that request better than anybody else in industry because we have that shared context of your customers and their entire life cycle, as well as like all of your campaigns and your campaign performance data over time. So yeah, it's a big shift in being able to just ask those questions of the system, ask those questions of Agentforce Marketing, instead of like just turning to the human and asking the same question and hoping that answer would come in a short amount of time.
Yeah, that makes total sense, because one thing that if I was running marketing ops or marketing would be excited about is I can get that answer and now I can actually go and spin up a campaign to solve that. And one thing that I also saw today earlier is there is a newer feature too that can spin up a campaign for you as well, which is pretty cool. Could you explain like what's actually happening? Because I know that a lot of marketers have to get into that nitty gritty of tweaking workflows, tweaking audience, tweaking campaigns, and it takes forever to do that in one fell swoop. So what the optimization of campaigns?
Yeah. So we've, in Agentforce Marketing, we've had several assistive agents that help with parts of the journey of a campaign for a while. We've had a campaign agent for creating the essence of the campaign, the brief, the base content, the base orchestration. What we announced today were a pair of agents that go beyond just like creating the brief and creating the campaign, but helping you design a goal for your business, or helping you define a goal for that campaign or a set of campaigns, then define the campaign that's going to address that goal, and then actually orchestrate and optimize that campaign over time. So the key difference between what we had previously in being able to generate those assets and what we have now is the Agentforce Marketing Goals agent that does all of that creation and then the orchestration and optimization. And of course, there's a human in the loop. So the agent recommends changes to the campaign, like either a change in the distribution of channels and how you're like spending across SMS or email. It can recommend changes to the content. If it sees content is going stale, it can recommend generating new content. And then not just recommend it, but to take the action to do that for you. The other side of that is we announced a pilot for our Agentforce Content Agent. Throw the word agent in there enough. And the Agentforce Content Agent is, you can think of it as like a canvas to be able to create multi-channel content around a concept that you've defined in your brief, as well as the variants and even translated variants of that same content. So with the content agent and the goals agent working together, you can use the goals agent to set up the campaign, the content agent to fill it absolutely to the brim with content variants for experimentation, and then the goals agent will carry on to optimize that campaign moving forward. So just like really freeing the marketer from having to investigate whether the campaign's performing and then figure out what to do. It suggests an alternative and then just hits the easy button to do it for you.
One thing I also found interesting is I saw in the latest like Salesforce marketing report that like 75% of marketers have adopted AI, but they're still like sending off like one-off campaigns. They're still they've adopted basically AI, but the output hasn't really changed. You know, what's your like gut feeling of like why that output hasn't really changed?
Yeah, I think it's because because there's not a strong connection between a lot of those tools. So you can take a collection of point solutions to generate content, or to define an audience segment, or even to reason over your like marketing data that you've pulled out of the system. But those are optimizations made to moments in the marketing journey. What we're trying to do here is trying to have an agency of AI agents. They're actually all kind of working for the same company in a way, off of that shared context, so that they can work together to not just make you faster at doing a certain step in the journey, but to make the entire journey faster through either assist or by fully automating the step. So I think in summary, I'd say it's the shared context, which is what really is going to, which really helps accelerate a marketer's time to getting a campaign out the door and time to moving on to the next.
I know I should have probably started up here, but can you give the high level view of like what actually is an agent, like what an agent's doing? Because I feel like when someone says I'm working with an agent,
Right.
some people could say like, is that agent going to replace my job? Some people are going to say like, I'm nervous to use it because my data is, like I don't want to lend my data. Is it going to go do something crazy?
Right.
There's no guardrails. So like, what is actually an agent like at the highest point?
Yeah. So an agent inside of Salesforce and inside the context of Agentforce, it's a set of instructions on top of a large language model, governed by what we call trust layer, which ensures things like third-party LLMs aren't getting any smarter off of your data and your customers' data as a marketer. But it's a set of instructions on top of the LLM with that trust layer as well, ensuring that the agent performs in a way that maintains the security, the privacy of your data, but also that it acts in a way that is responsible and supportive of your brand. So it's not just the agreements that we have in place with our LLMs. There's a whole set of instructions and code under there that make sure the agent is operating in a trustworthy manner. And so all of the agents that we build operate in this ecosystem. They also have access to the customer data that as a marketer, your customer data that's mapped into Data 360. So it's, when I was talking about shared context earlier, it's that entire context of the customer, your brand, the brand definitions inside of Salesforce, those instructions all together and that data all together supports the agent in making decisions. So every agent's got a set of skills or actions that it's capable of, but it's all on top of that platform, on top of the trust layer, on top of the shared data that's available in Data 360.
One thing I want to ask you too, because it sounds like your agent is only as good as like the inputs you put inside of the platforms you're using, so like Slack. So how do you recommend people like either clean the existing data to make the agent perform better, or how to make sure that the inputs are clean to make sure the agent is performing at the highest level? Because I think sometimes like an agent or AI is only good as how clean your data is. I mean, if you're not doing it in there, some people input things in different systems in a weird way that might give you wrong context or stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there's two parts of it. One is making sure the agent has access to the data that's necessary for it to perform its job. And for us, as a platform feature, we've got Data 360. You're able to connect to a variety of sources, pull that data in, unify it, harmonize it around a notion of a unified individual. That's part of the solution. The other part is that the agent itself and its definition needs to be something that is like robust, customizable, and also well tested. And so we've got a studio inside of Salesforce for being able to customize and edit those agent instructions, so that like and like a harness to be able to like test it as well. The brand name has been paged out of my memory. Maybe I need Slackbot here for an assist, but basically like a set of tools to be able to see the agent's instructions, to be able to edit those skills, to be able to test those skills against like real like with your real data, with new instructions, to iterate on that loop, and then to ultimately like activate that agent for your use. And this goes for any agent, whether it's like an agent that's helping you with segmentation, whether it's an agent that's helping you create content, the agent that would help you with understanding your marketing performance data. The same sort of arc fits all of those agents on the Agentforce platform.
I also want to ask you, like, what do you see as the working relationship between marketer and agent? Also in the future, like, what does like a marketing team look like with like agents and marketers involved? And what is like the human's role versus the agent's role in that picture?
Yeah, we're like, I don't know that any of us know how this is going to end, and I don't. It's not
hard to predict.
It's also not. It's not something that's going to. I don't think there's an end to it. Just a continuum. But the way that we're positioning it is that the agents are the agents assist your team. The agents assist your team to free you to have more time to be a maker, to be more creative. They like you can think of it as an agency of AI agents that you can hire for those assistive tasks on your team. We want to have a suite of agents for every task that a marketer or every job that a marketer needs to do to be able to assist there. So I think of it as more an augmentation of your team, not a replacement of any role. And this is also like how we build the software too. Yeah. Like we look at AI to assist our developers and our product managers to make better product faster.
The last question I have for you is, and I ask everybody in my podcast, but I'm going to switch a little bit because it's about AI. Mm-hmm. What's like an AI hill you would die on?
Ooh, an AI hill I would die on. Crickets. An AI hill I would die on. Relevant to this discussion, it's that the AI is the response that you're going to get out of any agent is limited by the amount of context that you're able to give it. And you need to have a trustworthy way to get that agent as much possible context as it needs to do its job. So I think people look at the consumer expectations on AI are that it's like magic and just go into ChatGPT and bang out a question and it's always going to be right. And like, yeah, it's got broad context, but like but it doesn't have the depth. Like it doesn't always have the depth in every subject that you'd expect. And so I guess, yeah, the hill I would die on is like, if you want great results out of agents and AI, you've got to give it great data. And
I love that because the way I've been seeing, at least like Salesforce ecosystem, like the conversations you're having in Slack is data, the inputs you have in your Salesforce, either your like Data 360 or your CRM or whatever you're putting into, goes into that context. And that I love that it can pull from like conversations you had with your marketing team and pull from like conversations in your CRM and then give you an answer and see like, oh, you talked about this like a week ago. And
right.
Here's some context that the marketing leader said. And
yeah,
I've liked you so much.
Even outside of a marketing context, we see this with Slackbot inside of Salesforce where it has our conversations, it has our Google Docs, it has your calendars if you've opted into that. The richer context really makes it perform as an outstanding member of a team.
Well, thank you so much for your time and it was great chatting with you.
Yeah, happy to do it again sometime soon.
Thanks so much for listening. Keep tuning in to hear more great insights from the coolest marketers from around the world. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and follow the Marketing Millennials podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like what you hear, I would greatly appreciate you giving us a 5-star rating. It helps bring more marketers into our community.